Hey everyone, Jim here from The Haunted Walk with a couple of intriguing photos we'd like to share with you. They were recently sent to us by a guest who joined us on our Ghosts in the Gallows tour. And if you recall, that's our tour that takes you through the old Ottawa jail. All right, let's take a look. The two photos feature a green orb. That though the shots are taken in more or less the same angle, the orb seems to float or to move from right to left as we look at the photo. To be honest, we were a little stumped. So we decided to reach out to a local photographer, Lorien, from Vikarious Photography to see if she might be able to help us understand what could be happening in these images.
The first thing you'll notice about these images is two things. So there's a bright white light in the top left corner, and then there's a little green orb in the bottom right. Orbs are a phenomenon that do often happen, and usually they have an explanation, but sometimes they don't. The orb can be produced when a flash from a camera is reflected back or bounced back to the viewer off of something like a dust particle. However, in this case, if you look a little closer between the two images, this dust particle actually moves. You can see from the leaves in the background that it was a clear and calm night in the courtyard and that there probably wasn't a whole lot of wind. The other thing about it is that orbs are usually happen when there's a flash from the camera. In this case, you can see at the left-hand side of the image that there is no flash because that one bright light is the only source of light. Where would that light have bounced off of to get back to the viewer? This case is a little tough because that orb moves between them, because it's green, where orbs are usually white, and because of there's no flash to reflect back to the viewer.
Thanks, Lorien. What really struck me about these orbs is the very definitive shape they have with the kind of the darker interior and the lighter green exterior. And when Lorien was talking about the bright light in that top left corner, it did kind of twig something in my memory that when I have used my iPhone, I recall taking some pictures, particularly if the sun is in the background, or a really bright light source, that caused or has caused some of these green orbs appear in my photos. So I did a little digging online and found out that iPhone users do report these green orbs occasionally appearing. And this is caused when the light source is reflecting kind of inside the lens of the camera there. And that would explain why the shape may look so perfectly circular, and kind of the outline of the shape is the same in both photos. There's a few examples I found online of this, and while they seem similar, one notable difference is in most of the examples I found, the image is only kind of a solid green color. You don't get this outlining that we see in the middle. If I had to guess, I would say given how the orb is the same from one frame to the next visually, that may indicate this may be a tangible, real thing that light is reflecting off and giving us this very similar image. However, the size of it does seem a little unusual compared to the other examples. And also the fact that it moves quite a distance between the two photos is something that's a little more difficult to explain. We always love to get your photos, so please keep sending them in and we'll keep trying to figure them out.